And welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about efforts at the Capitol to fight the so-called hidden gas tax. My guest this segment is Ted Gaines, who's a member of the state Senate from Roseville near Sacramento. Thanks for being with us.
Great. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.
So I guess we should start at the beginning. Gasoline, fuels are now part of the cap and trade program.
That's right.
And so those who manufacture the fuels have to basically pay into a fund to help mitigate greenhouse gas emissions.
Right, and it's a tax on the people, and I don't think it's necessary. I think Californians are overtaxed, and so I've proposed a bill, Senate Bill 1, which will repeal the gas tax for 10 years until we can figure out something better, another means of raising revenue if that's necessary. And in what is now a growing economy, I'm not convinced we need to be taxing the people any more money.
Supporters, though, of this tax, as you call it, or levy or whatever, say that this really goes to the heart of our efforts to fight greenhouse gas emissions, and especially since gasoline, fuels, and automobiles contribute something like 37% of all the emissions. And so if we're going to be serious about doing some of this environmental work, we need to do this.
Well, if you look at the California Air Resources Board and the success that they've had in cleaning the combustion engine in California, they've made huge strides to the point where some auto manufacturers claim that the air coming out of the exhaust pipe is cleaner than the air going in, LA Basin, for instance. So I think we've made great strides. I don't think we need to go beyond unless we can do it within our own means, our own financial means. We don't need to put it on the backs of people that have to get to work on a daily basis and tax them what could be a tax of up to 76 cents per gallon.
They were talking about 76. Right now, it's only been, what, 8, 9, 10 cents or so?
Yeah, it's been smaller, but I would argue that that's planned. That is part of the rollout, that the impact would be small so that we supposedly would not notice it. But I'm going to put the public awareness up and let folks know that taxes are going up, and you're already paying upwards of 80 cents a gallon on tax already, so why do we need to do that again?
Is this what you might call a statement effort on your behalf? Because as you probably don't would expect necessarily a lot of support in the legislature.
Well, I think it is a statement, clearly. We don't need to increase taxes, but it's also a practical aspect of governing that we ought to look at. And as a lawmaker, I think we ought to repeal it. There were a number of Assembly Democrats that wrote a letter to the governor last year encouraging him not to implement this in January. And yet that has moved forward, and I'm going to do all I can, hopefully on a bipartisan basis, to pass this legislation.
Before we go, I'm going to talk about another piece of legislation you have, which would double the dependent tax credit.
Child dependent tax credit. That's right. Yes.
And that would basically take $2 billion out of our budget, and it would go to the families.
Yes, it's a big chunk. It's a reprioritization of our budget. But again, families are hurting. There's a lot of studies about income declining, not only in California but nationally. The middle class seen a reduction in income of upwards of $6,000 to $7,000 a year. So why not give them a little bit more relief financially?
All right. Well, we're out of time for this segment, but two fascinating subjects. I'm glad you could come by and talk to us about it, and we'll have to have you back and watch the progress.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Steve.
And thanks to our viewers also for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. A reminder, you can see this and other interviews on the California channel, on YouTube, and also on My Government On Demand. I'm Steve Swatt. Have a great day.